If you've started automating AI agents using Make.com and Relevance AI, that's great. But if you're not using this next step, you're leaving a ton of automation power on the table. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can unlock even more AI capabilities without having to learn a new platform or rebuild anything from scratch. So let's dive in. If you're new to the channel, my name is Matt Paiva and I build AI solutions for businesses, especially on the sales and marketing side of things. And in the previous video of this series, I showed you the easiest way to get started building these AI agents using these two platforms that we mentioned before. And essentially in that video, we looked into how to trigger existing make automations using Relevance AI agents. This essentially allows us to use the complexities and the depth of AI agents with existing Make.com scenarios that you already have in your workflow. Now, in this video, we're going to look into how we can send back information from Make.com to our Relevance AI agents so we can use that information as inputs for the next steps of that agent. So without further ado, let's get started. So in our last video, we started building our AI agent that helps managers and business owners to manage tasks better, essentially by looking at ongoing communication through any channel. The one that we're using right now is email, and identifying emails that are talking about tasks that need to get done. Then from there, it creates these tasks in any project management software. For our purposes, we're using ClickUp. So just as a quick example to show you how this AI agent is working, also with our new upgrade of sending back information, we have this simple email over here that is talking about two automations that need to be built by March 10th. So essentially we have this outreach automation over here and this invoice reminder automation over here. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to send this email to the email connected to our AI agent. And from here, we just need to wait until it connects and triggers our agent. So here we go. Our Taskify Relevance AI agent received the email that we sent to our inbox, and it already triggered our ClickUp task creator over here. Essentially what's happening in the background is that this automation in Make.com is getting triggered by this custom webhook over here. And then what type of information do we receive? We receive the email content. We receive the date that the email was sent. We receive the subject line of that email, as well as the conversation ID of that automation, of this conversation over here happening in the Relevance AI agent, not the automation. And then from here, we interpret that email using ChatGPT, parse the information, find out who this task is being assigned to, create a ClickUp task, and then we send that information back, which is the new step that we're going to be looking at today. So if I open up over here, I can see my ClickUp task that automatically was created over here, which just says automating tasks due March 10th, assigned to myself, and due on Monday, March 10th. As you guys can see, I'm recording this on Friday. So this worked in fact really seamlessly, and in fact we did build this whole automation in a separate video. So if you are interested in building this whole thing from scratch, you can either go watch that video or you can just go in the link down in the description below and grab the template for yourself. This automation, we built it all the way up to this module over here, the editing a task, which is essentially assigning the right person to that task. And now we're going to build this portion over here. Now, why is this last module important? Because this last module is sending back one key point of information. This module is sending back the URL of our ClickUp task. So it's essentially sending back the link of this ClickUp task, because the next thing that our automation will do is it will send an email confirming that the automation was successfully created. So the email content, for example, that we have over here. So here is our email body that we're going to send back, essentially confirming what we created in ClickUp. And it says, "Dear Mateus, I just wanted to confirm that the task for the automation scenarios have been successfully created in ClickUp. And here is the following link." So essentially, if we copy this link over here and we paste it into a new tab, it's going to open our ClickUp board with the exactly the task that we are looking for, right? So the person that receives the email back can directly access that task without having to go out and look for a different platform. The whole idea here is that we make the process of creating these tasks and managing these tasks easier and faster. Like I said before in other videos, this is a problem that could add up to almost $10,000 per year per manager. So this is definitely something good to look into, but obviously we can use the same principles that we're using here to build any other sort of automation. So from here, I actually just approved this task. This type of tool that sends emails, I prefer to leave it as an approval tool. So now I just approved, and this email was just sent to the email that I originally sent to, exactly saying what we needed with the link that we needed. So if we just click here, it's going to open the same task that I was just showing you as well, making it really simple and really easy for managers to manage tasks better. Now, we wouldn't be able to send this link back if we didn't have this last step over here, right? So let's go over how to build this step from scratch. I'm gonna go ahead and unlink this, and we're gonna leave it out over there. And we're gonna go over step by step on how to build this. The first thing that we wanna do is to go and adjust our tool in Relevance AI to include the conversation ID, so we can make sure that this information that we're sending back from this make automation is coming back to the right conversation here in the Relevance AI instead of in the Relevance AI agent. Instead of creating a new conversation, it has to come back to this existing conversation over here. So how do we do that? So the first thing that we're gonna do is to go over on tools and look for the tool that we're using that sends out the information to make.com. And then we're gonna look for that tool over here in our tools inventory. In my case, is just the last tool that we used. And here we'll be able to see all the inputs that we're using and the API call. Now, originally, the inputs did not include this conversation ID. So what will you need to do? You'll need to create this text input by just adding one and calling it conversation ID. And then from here, you just have to say conversation ID for this conversation over here. And the idea is to rename this, this variable over here to say conversation ID. I'm gonna say conversation ID 1 because we already have the conversation ID over here. Now, once we have that variable created, you want to open up your API call. You're gonna have your URL that you have created based on the previous video that we made. And we're gonna add a new param down below over here. Now here we can say conversation ID 1. And over here, we're just gonna select that variable. Now, since I had already created this when I was testing out this tool, I already have the conversation ID over here, which makes it really simple for us to get this going. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. And once you do create this, you do need to go ahead and actually trigger your scenario so you can get access to the new variables over here. So what we want to do with our scenario to actually receive that new input is unlink our webhook from our scenario and then click on run once. And then from here, we're going to send out a test run over here. So essentially, we're going to click on run tool. Ideally, I think we need to include all the information over here. So I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the email content. And now we're going to run the tool. And this will essentially trigger our webhook over here. Now, from this point onwards, we'll have all of these values to work with. So we can use the conversation ID, the email date, the email subject, and the email content. We're going to need this conversation ID to use our HTTP module over here. And let me just disconnect it over again. So once you do that, you can reconnect your webhook to your scenario. And then from here on out, you just need to unlink this one over here because this is an in-between step, and you're gonna create your HTTP make a request module. So you're gonna go to HTTP, click on make a request, and then from here we're gonna go back to Relevance AI to grab the URL that we're gonna have to use to trigger this. So back in our Relevance AI agent, you're gonna go to your agent builder. Essentially, I don't know if this is called a builder, but essentially where you go and change the informations. And down here on build your own triggers, you will see this option of API. Now from here, what you want to do is to copy this endpoint, go back to make.com and paste your endpoint. Now here in the method, you're going to change from get to post. This essentially is just the method that we're using to trigger the automation. And from this point onwards, we're going to start building the rest. All right, so in our headers, we're gonna add 2 items. The first one, we're gonna go and copy this over here, content type, and we're gonna paste content type exactly like that. And the value, we're going to select application JSON. And make sure that you don't have like any spaces or anything like that. Over here, we're gonna have authorization. This is essentially us authorizing this tool to trigger our Relevance AI agent. And from here, you just need to click on generate API key. And this will generate a unique API key. Go ahead and copy that, bring it back over here and paste it over here. And from here on out, we're going to actually choose the information that we're going to send back. So here on body type, we're going to select raw. On content type, we're going to select JSON. And the request content, we're going to go grab that information here in our Relevance AI agent again. So here we just copy our request body, come over here, and paste the request body over here. Now at this point, we're gonna have to change a few things. So the first thing that we're gonna change is that we're gonna add that conversation ID over here. So at the very end of this portion, when it says agent ID, you're just going to include a comma and then quotations. And here you're going to say conversation ID. You're going to say conversation ID like this. Quotations again, the little 2 dots, quotations again. And then from here, we're going to select our input over here called conversation ID, quotations, and that solves our problem for now. Now, this essentially guarantees that we're sending the information back to the same conversation, like I said before. Now, what we need to do is we need to change the content of the message that we're sending back. So what we want to send back is the link of the ClickUp task that we created over here. So in this scenario, I'm going to say, hello, comma, here is the link to the ClickUp task we just created, 2 dots, and I'm going to select the input of the URL. And this essentially, from here on out, we just click save, and we are actually ready to go. Really simple, really straightforward to create this. Now, this setup usually works, but sometimes our agent is still working when this automation is triggered. So we need to set up a sleep module in between the last module of the automation and sending back the information via that HTTP request, the API call that we're doing. So we're going to click on add a module, search up sleep. Just got to type it right. Search up sleep and delay it for around 10 to 15 seconds. Let's put it 15 seconds just to be safe. Because this will allow our AI agents to stop working and receive the information back so it can get triggered and move on from there. So here we're going to go and save the scenario, make sure that everything is working, and we're going to send another email testing out this tool. Right, so let's go ahead and test out this automation. Let's send an email to myself with this content over here. Hey Matt, hope you're doing well. When you get a chance, can you please update the workflow documentation for the latest automations? It'd be great to have everything clearly outlined so it's easy to reference moving forward. And the deadline, March 12th, if possible. So I'm just gonna call this automation workflow update, March 12th as the subject line for this. And from here on out, we just need to remember to turn on our automation. Is this on? Our automation is on, and it should receive information whenever this is triggered. So we're going to go ahead and send this email and just do a test run to make sure that everything is working properly. And here we're looking out for a couple things. We're making sure that the automation is sending and receiving the information that we needed to send and receive. And that would be the subject line, the content, the date, and that the automation is running properly. Now, this we've already tested in the previous video, making sure that the due dates are being interpreted correctly, making sure that the assignees for the ClickUp task are being interpreted correctly as well. So I don't think that we're gonna have any errors, but let's see how the automation deals with this request. So what that actually looks like here in our Relevance AI interface is that we receive this new task over here on the left-hand column with the email. And then what we can see is that there were steps performed in the background. And essentially the step that happened is us triggering the ClickUp task creator. And here we're going to see that it also leaves a message saying, I have canceled the last pending action as I have received a new trigger for the process. And that new trigger is essentially the information being sent back to us. So here is the information being sent back to us from the make automation. Hello, here is the link for the ClickUp task we just created. And we can just click on that link, make sure that the information is correct. That looks like it is correct. Automation workflow update, March 12th, assigned to me. And the due date also is correct on March 12th. That is really nice. And now from here on out, we can approve this email to be sent out. And essentially we're gonna get an email in our inbox confirming that that worked. The only tiny change that I would make on this step is to actually send an email as a reply instead of creating a new email. I think right now it's set up to send a new email. So let's just take a look at that. Yes, it is. It's just, sending back a new email saying task confirmation automation workflow with the ClickUp link as well. So just a quick change that I would make to make this automation even better and make this agent even more intelligent. So as you guys can see, it's much simpler than you might have imagined building these AI agents using these two platforms, Make.com and Relevance AI. In the first video, we covered how to send information to Make.com. In this video, we covered how to receive information from Make.com. Essentially, what this allows us to do is to give full information and make sure that our agents understand what's going on in the background with these automations that it doesn't necessarily have access to, but it has access to the inputs and the outputs of these automations, making sure that it knows exactly what's going on behind the scenes. And honestly, I'm really happy I found a way to do this, because whenever you go really deep into a platform and you learn most of the things that you can do with it, there's always a new platform that comes up every couple of months or so, and it's just a hassle to learn something new. A lot of the times you can do everything that you're trying to do with the platforms that you already know. So I'm glad I found out how to build AI agents in a simpler way, and I hope that you can build AI agents in a simpler way. And since we are talking about this topic of building AI agents, if you want me to help you to build any AI agents that you might be trying to build, or any sort of AI workflow for your business, there is a link down below that you can book a call with me directly. There's also a link, like I said before, to get access to all of these agents that I'm showing in these videos, as well as the Make automations, to make sure that you are taking advantage of this content that I'm making out here. I want to see a lot of people and a lot of business owners using these to take their businesses to the next level. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, or if you want me to help you build these things for your business. So now that you've learned the basics of building AI agents using Make.com and Relevance AI, you might be interested in learning how to make more profit for your business using these types of AI systems. And that's exactly why I made this video over here, which are 6 different automations covering how to make more money in your business. 3 of them cover how you can make more revenue, and 3 of them cover how you can decrease your costs using systems that are really similar to the one that I showed you in this video. So if you're interested, go check that one out, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.